Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. Thanks for joining us. Hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Plenty coming up on the show as I welcome Rob Popplestone as always. Poppy, how are you?
Look, I'm feeling on top of the world, I don't mind saying. I love this time of year, and most footy fans, in fact most sporting fans do. We've got the SNFL preliminary final. We've got 2 rounds left of AFL football this week to see who might play the Adelaide Crows and Richmond next week, preliminary final. I mean, it's fantastic. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
You could not possibly have a bigger smile on your face being a Richmond fan, but it's time to get over to Erin and find out what's happening in the sporting news around South Australia. Erin?
Thanks, guys, and what a week to start off the footy finals. The Crows smashed GWS by 36 points at Adelaide Oval last Thursday night to give themselves another chance to make it into the all-important grand final. Eddie Betts had 3 goals by half-time when the Crows were sitting comfortably by 44 points. May have been raining, but the home side kept GWS on a short lead, with GWS's Shane Munford recording no disposals by half-time. Rory Sloane is set to be back next week with the boys now after having a week off to get his appendix taken out. There are emotional scenes as the siren sounded for Sam Jacobs, whose brother Aaron passed away just the week before. The Crows boys did something a little different this game, not linking arms while the national anthem was played. The same was done by the winning grand final team back in 2007. Well played, boys. Even if you aren't a Port fan, I bet you still had some tears in your eyes when that final siren went. After 4 quarters, it was a draw, and with new AFL rules, it meant we went into extra time 5 minutes each way. Both teams, exhausted from a brutally tough game, played their hearts out for those 10 minutes, but we all know how this story ended. Luke Shuey scored a free kick just at the siren sounded, kicking the winning goal and breaking Port Adelaide's hearts at the same time. The controversy surrounding that free will be talked about for years, but what a finish by Port Adelaide. You didn't go down without a fight. In other AFL games, Richmond won against Geelong comfortably by 91-40, while the Swans smashed Essendon 121-56 points. The Crows will play the winner of Geelong and Sydney, whilst the Tigers will host the winner of GWS and West Coast. In the Sandful, a tough game between Central Districts and Sturt, but the boys in the double blue managed to get over the line, winning 86-79 points. And the Eagles just couldn't seem to get it together, going down to Port Adelaide 40-73. We'll see Sturt and the Eagles battle it out next Sunday at Adelaide Oval in the preliminary final, where the winner will head straight to the grand final against Port Adelaide. And the Port Magpies have already had a win, with Lewis Sherrard edging out teammate Tom Gray to win the 2017 Reserves Magarey medal. Sherrard finished with a total of 20 votes, playing 5 Maccas Leagues matches this season, including last week's qualifying against Sturt. He's the first Magpies player to win the Reserves medal for the club since 2009. To local soccer now, the Croydon Kings will still be celebrating today after taking home the Premier League Grand Final. With 2 minutes to go, the Kings scored against Adelaide City to make 2-1 at High Marsh Stadium on Saturday night. The club finished 4th for the season, but this win will now give them the 3rd major trophy in 4 years under coach Mark Brazel. And to get those calendars out, April 2018 is set to be a big month. Adelaide will host the Special Olympics National Games next year, with the opening ceremony kicking things off on the 16th of April. Over 90 South Australians with intellectual disabilities will take part in 11 sports, including footy, sailing and bocce. Paul Lucas hopes to bring home the gold in the 100 and 400 metre sprints, while Josh Morpeth will be looking to bowl the competition over in 10-pin bowling. And that's up to date with things in sport in Adelaide. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Erin. Well, Poppy, I mentioned it before we went to Erin. You have got a marvellous Joker smile on your face. Richmond could not have looked better on the weekend. We'll catch up with Bevo a little bit later in the show to talk about it, but I just want to get your view. After the weekend,
yes,
Crows were sensational in their game against GWS.
Yep.
Richmond looked the better team against Geelong than Sydney against Essendon or West Coast against Power. So right now, just stay with me. Crows into the grand final, Richmond into the grand final.
Oh, wow.
Based on what we saw on the weekend, both teams playing as well as they could, which team would win it based on the form of the weekend?
When in doubt, go the home side.
Right.
And Richmond are going to be playing on their home ground.
Yep.
And I just think this has unfolded beautifully. And I know we'll expand on this later in the show, but the fact is they've got to play Geelong on their home ground when they really should have been playing them at Geelong. They then are going to play the winner of either GWS or injury-prone or West Coast, who at that time will have travelled to Adelaide, to Sydney and then to Melbourne 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
And then they play the top side, Adelaide Crows, we think, or Sydney, doesn't matter who, at the MCG, home ground. I mean, I think Richmond, if they don't, and a week's a long time in footy, but if they don't do it this week, They're not going to do it for a
All
while.
right, I spoke to the coach last Friday.
Yep, did you?
Last Thursday night, actually.
Yes.
I rang to say good luck. He returned my calls, surprised me.
Yes.
Had a little bit of chatter about how it was going to unfold.
Did you
what
actually
he
tell
thought.
him what you told us?
I
that
did.
You didn't think they'd win.
I actually did say that, and he said, mate, I'll be calling you after the game.
And he did.
And he did. and I was very happy. I wanted Richmond to win, obviously,
Yeah.
because of the friendship with Damien, but he felt that they were in really good shape. He was really confident going in the game, so it was great for them. A couple of surprises, though, that
Yes.
Selwood's performance wasn't as good as people perhaps thought. So
No.
he's going to be up and about. But staying with the Adelaide flavour, I think Sydney are going to play the Crows.
You'd think so.
They've won 15 of their
You'd
last
think
17. They beat them here. They'll play
Yes.
them here. Are you concerned? Do you think Adelaide will get over the top of them?
There's a lot to like about both sides, and really, in a lot of ways, when they got beaten by Sydney, there was not much on the end of it for Adelaide when they lost at Adelaide Oval, but there was a possibility of a top 4 finish for Sydney. So we've seen it time and time again. When a side's got something to play for, it's natural adrenaline that drives you. Whether you, a coach, or you yourself, try to get yourself up. If it's not life or death, you don't give your life. And I just think that we're going to see a completely different game unfold, preliminary final, probably for both matches. How many times do we see an upset result? Look at West Coast at Port Adelaide.
Yep.
Now,
Did they do the right thing? Did they do the right thing?
Port Adelaide?
Port Adelaide, go with the young defenders?
Well, in hindsight, probably not. But I agree. Look, Ken rolled the dice a bit, and you've been in control as a coach
Sometimes you
of
have
young
to.
talent, and you've got to win today with a view of helping your team, your club, in years to come. It didn't quite work, but they missed by that much. And I don't blame the young players for that little loss. Boak had a chance to nail it. Dixon had a set shot for goal.
Sure.
I mean, that's the players that needed to do more, I thought.
All right, I don't think you can ever argue if Tringove had a play, they would have won. We'll never know.
we
So
never
there's
know
no
that.
point in having that argument. Just quickly, the SANFL finals, of course, they've hotted
Yes.
right up now. Centrals took it right up to Sturt, but Sturt got
too
through.
good.
I asked you for your opinion of the game. You said, Delta Goodwin was at the game. I said, no, mate, your opinion of the game. Yeah, but Delta was there.
She's
So
beautiful.
she is a lovely woman. But, mate, I wanted to get your opinion of the footy.
Yeah.
So Delta won't be at the footy this weekend
Yeah.
because
I wish he was.
Sturt play the Eagles, who got beaten fairly well by the Magpies in the first quarter. In fact, that
Yes.
pretty much determined the game. Which way do you see it going, Eagles or Sturt?
Well, Delta can sing the blues, and I think the Blues. No, I think the Blues. Geez, that was a long stretch.
Marty Mattner's going to get them through.
Yeah. I think the Blues beat the Eagles. Now, what a disappointment for the Eagles, who finished on top of the SANFL ladder. I just think they're a beautifully balanced, strong all-round, well-organised outfit, and that's not to say the Eagles are not, but Sturt are capable of going through the gears, I think, better. I think Sturt beat the Eagles, and we're going to see a completely different Port Adelaide side, given that the
Yes.
Power are no longer in the AFL. They're going to lose at least 3 experienced players. It's good. It's good.
All right,
I'm
we'll get to a
bloody
break.
excited.
Stay with us. Plenty coming up on the show. Right. Easy.